morning, everyone. I'm Jose Martinez. I'm the Recovering Airman Mentorship Program Manager. Here today, our theme is the workshop, be it virtual or in person. The workshop is a workshop for mentors that want to learn more about mentorship. Once they come into our program, we train them, and then they're paired with someone that was newly identified and guides them on the recovery path. Today we have Jonathan Session. We have Lisa, Lisa, I'm butchering it. Osentowski. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Lance Gillenwater, but we call him Chillenwater, and Lisa Miller. On here today also with us is the ramp coordinators, Melissa Baggy and Roger Placido. All right, welcome all. We currently have our 4 mentors here that have been trained in past events, and Jonathan Session is a newer one that just got trained up last week. So we're gonna have their take on the workshop and advocate for the workshop on its behalf of AFW2. We want to thank you for being here. And I know Marsha and Colonel Hubert and AFW2 leadership really appreciates this. All right, real quick, I'm gonna go and hit up one question to 2 individuals, and then I'll let Roger and Melissa take over after that too. So in the past, we've had, before our pandemic, we had in-person events. In this in-person events, we had an 8 hours course of mentorship. In the course, we would invite our new mentors that wanted to be in the course, of course, that they would attend, and we would have 1 full day of mentorship training. That they would come 1 day early, they would go participate, and it was a lot of noise, because of all the registration and everything's going on. And then in the pandemic, we went into a Zoom world, and the Zoom world was very calm and very controlled environment. So to Lance and Lisa, you being both at those events, either in person and our Zoom event, can you give your take on both of this, their pros and cons, and what you like about them? Go ahead.
Okay. So for me, that was my first event in 2019, and I was pretty fresh on my recovery path, and the energy that I felt there was very overwhelming, but it hit hard and it was impactful, and it made a huge dent right away for me. And it was really nice. Tons of hugs, lots of emotion. It was wonderful. Actually, it was everything that I was missing out on, and I'm glad that I got to do that event live. Then during the pandemic, we had the first and a couple more virtual events, and I noticed that the energy wasn't as intense, but it was nice because with hypervigilance PTSD, I didn't have to worry about my surroundings as much. I was in a very comfortable situation, and I was able to participate and talk a little bit more, engage a little bit more. So I think the two are different, but the core idea and what we were aiming for got across just the same. They just come from it from 2 different sides.
Thank you, Lance. Lisa Miller.
Oh, so for the in-person one, that was my first event as well. So I was pretty nervous to begin with. As Jose's mentioned before, I kind of wanted to go home, but meeting everybody and listening to all the information, it was a lot of information in an 8-hour day, getting just pushed at us and going through different activities and such. But hearing everybody's stories and knowing that you're not in this alone and being able to use those tools with others that are there with you and use them down the way helped a lot. Then we moved over to the virtual world, getting in a 5-day course. You get to, kind of spread out the information, divulge it, like think about it, and then ask questions or listen to others' stories. And it's just not just in your face, So I kind of like the virtual a little bit better, or if there was like an actual week-long course just for mentorship in person, that would be helpful as well, because not everybody can like get all the information within 8 hours that we need to help others around us, or that would help us out, further our recovery as well. So, but yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. I think
You're welcome.
both Lance and Lisa, and I think Jonathan mentioned it in the feedback that he wanted more crosstalk. Hearing the stories was very beneficial to him. Lance and Lisa, to you both, we were able to spend more time on the stories. I mean, it took a lot of time, right? So is that something that you feel should be always in our program as far as the crosstalk and the stories?
I think with the story piece, I think I would like ask the individuals beforehand if they do want to share their story, because I know with myself in the in-person, I didn't want to. Like, that's just not who I am. And I was super nervous. So if you know beforehand that somebody's comfortable with sharing their story, then it makes it a little not so awkward to everybody else. But just kind of throwing them on the spot and like, okay, you go. It kind of, I know I froze. And so I think going forward, if it's in person or virtual, to gauge beforehand before we come to an event to see if somebody wants to share their story. But hearing people's stories and what people are going through, to me, makes me feel better, and makes me like want to connect with these people, because you're not by yourself. You're not alone. In my day-to-day world, I put on a straight face and nobody ever knows there's anything wrong. But you can connect with your other mentors or airmen in recovery and know that you have other people in your pocket.
Thank you, Lisa. And Lance, same thing for
you?
you?
Yeah, I would actually really agree with Lisa. I like that idea of asking beforehand. But also when I was there, I didn't expect to talk at all. And so as soon as everyone opened up, I was like, no. And then it came to me and I just let it out. It just like came out. So it was super beneficial to hear everyone's story and where they're coming from. I did not expect to open up like that so quickly. So kind of on the other hand, it was nice to hear everyone's story. But I do understand that not everyone is ready, and you may not feel like you're ready, but like me, I just let it go. And I felt wonderful afterwards. To have been heard and validated, I waited a long time for that. It was nice.
We use this situation also because we look at your stories and then we pass it on to another program that's related to us, which is ambassadorship. So when we hear your stories and how you tell your stories, and if you're ready to tell your story to good, better, and different to the public and to the leadership of the Air Force leadership, that we're able to give them like a vetting, or I recommend this person, Lance or Lisa, to be an ambassador. So that's very powerful to hear that story. And yes, we'll keep that in consideration in the future and say, hey, we will have an instance where we'll ask you to tell your story, and then we'll go from there and say you're not obligated, only if you feel like you want to. So we'll take that in consideration. Thank you, both Lance and Lisa. Roger or Melissa, do you have anything else that you want to bring up?
Yeah. So this question is actually for all of you. We before I get into that, we missed the in-person events, right? I think we all do to a certain degree. We missed the in-person event, but I think that we can all agree that these virtual events have been highly beneficial. Like Lance said, you can do things and be a little bit more comfortable because you're in your own space, your own environment, so these virtual events have been beneficial, and we're thankful for our leadership to give us that opportunity to do these. But I had a question in regards to that for all of you, and Jonathan, I'll let you start it off. But what helped you decide to attend RAMP's virtual event? What was it that sold you on it?
Well, again, as you can see, I'm an ambassador also. for the AFW2 program. So it's a no-brainer for me. I'm a real easy kill. This is a program that's bigger than myself. So if anything that I can do to help somebody, to help them get better, to help them in their life struggles, I want to be at the forefront of that event, that program, or whatever the case may be. I want to be involved. And so the decision was made when I signed up to be a wounded warrior into the program. The decision was already made. Whatever capacity that this program needs me to work in, that's what I want to be doing. And so it was a no-brainer for me.
Lisa Osentoski.
Hey there. So I was really looking forward to the opportunity to be a mentor, and I was scheduled to go to an in-person event back before COVID came through and changed everyone's lives, but it just didn't work out with my schedule at the time, and I wasn't able to make it, which is really unfortunate. I've been wanting to do this for a couple of years. So when the option to do it virtually came along, it was absolutely perfect because it works with my schedule. I've actually got 2 girls that I'm homeschooling right now. They're over there being quiet. So, this allowed me to both meet all the obligations I have at home and still participate and, go through the official mentorship program so that I could really connect with any other wounded warriors that I might be able to help. I mean, we all go through these life-changing events, and anything that, I feel personally, if there's anything I can do to use that experience to help someone else, I absolutely want to. So I appreciate the flexibility that came with being able to do it virtually.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Lisa Miller.
Sir, can you repeat the question one more time?
Roger.
Yeah. So what helped you decide to attend the RAMP's virtual workshop? So what was our selling point? What got you? What reeled
So
you in?
I enjoyed the one-day course, and I finally, by the end of the week that I was there for the in-person event, I was comfortable, and I enjoy being a mentor with my mentee. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to jump on this. I kind of came away from the sports thing and really enjoyed the mentorship piece. And the last virtual, I didn't get to go to the last one, but the one before that I did get to attend. I really just enjoyed talking to the new mentors coming in and helping them out and answering questions and having them get a better understanding of the program and, my experiences and just sharing with them. So.
Thank you, Lisa. Lance?
Yeah, I was reached out to quite a few times over the 3 years that I had gotten out of active duty, and it was a dark time for me, and I didn't really want much to do with too much at all. But then I kind of cracked and I opened up, and I came at the very last second. I was TDRL, and I didn't know what to expect at all. I just went there kind of on a whim, and I read about it. And then, that first day, the first couple hours that we talked, I opened up, and it was awesome. And then I learned about all the programs, and I just felt how much care and kindness that the program had to offer, and community, and helping other warriors still. And it felt like everything that I was missing from the military that I was in before. And so after that live event, I kept participating in the RAMP program, going to the meetings, and then I branched out kind of opposite of Jonathan. Actually, I met Jonathan in the ambassador program a couple months ago. And so I've branched out to the other pillars, and I think it's awesome that we have all of those to offer. There's so much going on here, the caregivers and everything. It's a very well-rounded program, and I appreciate it for what it is.
Thank you. Roger, you have another question?
Yeah. So, we're happy that you guys had, the experience that you did, with us, and hopefully we gave you some takeaways. I'm curious to know, what are some things you learned during the RAMP virtual workshop that you feel you could share with your mentoree?
Yeah.
Like your biggest takeaway?
Well, I would have to say probably my biggest takeaway from the workshop was probably how, as mentors, there has to be a combination of empathy and sympathy there with your mentoree when you're speaking with them, when you're engaging with them at all times. Be cognitive of their vulnerabilities and just open up your heart and have an understanding of what they're going through and kind of put yourself in their shoes. And so that was probably the biggest takeaway, because that will in turn allow that mentoree to open up to you, and that you both can actually receive the help that you need out of the whole engagement. So I think that was the biggest takeaway for me, and I appreciated that information that was given.
I think another thing is establishing boundaries. So you know your boundaries with your mentoree, and they understand their boundaries with you. It can get, you could let the situation between the mentor and mentoree get kind of hazy, or somebody's crossing boundaries, or calling too late or early in the morning, or just kind of out of hand. So if you establish those boundaries early in the game, when you do get your mentoree and figure out what their needs are, you can kind of pave the way to helping and guiding and assisting your mentoring. So that was probably one of my biggest takeaways, is learning boundaries.
Thank you. Lisa, that's very important. In the training, we spent some time on the boundaries and the pitfalls, right? Very important, because we don't want to lose trust, and keeping the trust of a mentoree is vital. And our motto is do no harm. Do no harm to the mentoree, and of course, do no harm to yourselves, because you're still recovering. You're always on a path of recovery. And we don't want you to backslide. We don't want you to feel like, wow, I'm taking this on, and they're not doing this, and then you start internalizing that, and then you start backsliding, and then that's a pitfall. Then you start feeling like, hey, this is affecting me. So we don't want that. So we talk about those type of boundaries. Thank you for bringing that up. Greatly appreciate that. Anybody else have anything on the workshop?
Yeah, actually I do. One of the things I appreciated and a big takeaway from the workshop was that there are so many resources available to the Wounded Warriors, that we're just one resource of so many that are, the whole team can provide, and that their recovery care coordinator can help get them in touch with. And so just remembering that broad spectrum of programs that are available and support that's available. So if they come to you with an issue or a problem and you don't know, the answer to it, or you're not sure how to get there, that you're only one piece of a larger team that the Air Force Wounded Warrior Program is, that can step in and help them. So just, it's been 2 years since I left active duty. So a refresher on all of those resources and remembering how we can help them. But maybe we're not the person to help them. Maybe we need to put them in touch with somebody else who can, or remind them to go to their recovery care coordinator or something.
That very good, Lisa. The amazing thing about it is, where most mentors are on the closed group page for mentorship, the RAMP closed group page. And when someone brings up an issue, or they're reaching out, mentors come from all sides. There might not even be assigned to that person to come and aid or give advice. And nobody takes it the wrong way, because they know they're mentors and they're there to help. So thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up. Yes, that's a big pillar of the strength of this program. And of course, Ambassador and the caregiver, is the unity that you have in your close group when someone is needing assistance. Very, very big. So thank you, Lisa, for bringing that up. Anybody else on the workshop?
Yeah, I really liked the two-way street analogy. I think that was Jonathan. When I started this program and I got my mentoree, I didn't realize that I would get that much out of it. Personally, I thought I was giving everything, and now I have 3, and we all have this very similar diagnosis, and it's so nice to be able to talk about it, and I get just as much from them as I hope that I give them. And it's really nice to see them grow and recover and see where they're at now, and then you can be that kind of that guiding light for them and show them where they can be. It's really motivating to be like, I want to do better for my guys. Like, I want to show them what I learned. Anytime I have a problem with anything, a VA, anything, paperwork, I think about that, and I use that as a platform to be like, I just went through this. It actually helped me to pay attention to all the crummy situations I was in now, so I can come back and be like, hey, if you need to go through this, or which you probably will, there's a better way. This is what I went through, and I can flip that from my experiences, and then they don't have to, and then they can see where I had to navigate this path and where I'm at, and they can get there, beeline it so fast, so much faster. And it's really nice to see them excel faster than I did.
Yeah, it's like a shortcut, right? I say that a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very fulfilling to be able to share your experiences with someone else and know that you're saving them from having to go through all that you went through. And I have a question that kind of has to do with that. So did you feel, when you entered our workshop, did you feel somewhat like validated that you can make a difference? Because there are 4 strong warriors here, and each of you has a very different story, but you have a story and you can make a difference. And so I'm just curious, when you came in, if you were hesitant, like maybe I don't have anything to offer, and how you came out, and if you felt differently after that, because I know each of you feels differently now, obviously, and you do have something to offer, but does anyone want to speak to that?
Go ahead.
I'll just, I guess, continue with that. Absolutely, 100%. The first time that I was in there live, and I heard everyone's story, I didn't realize how much impact I would ever have ever again in almost anything in my life. And it put a perspective that I just did not have, and I could not figure out by myself. And as soon as I was done, I felt like I understood what I was supposed to do right away. And I had all these resources that the Warriors talked about. We had all these resources to back ourselves up with now and help with that.
Lance, to add on to that, I know you have 3 mentors in the program, mentorees, excuse me. I know in this program we try to keep it 1-to-1, but a lot of the times we have to, because of region, or also because of the wounds, illnesses, or injuries, we have to pair individuals up that way. And usually it's we have to pick that way. Okay, so you have 3 of them. We gave you 3. The great thing about it is I've seen Cynthia Moss grow as a mentoree under you, and she's very active in our closed group, and it's amazing. I know Roger and Melissa could attest to that, but also Ian Campbell, because Ian wants to be a mentor. So I think 2 weeks ago, Melissa sent a mentor form to him to give him make him a mentor, which he already is because he attended the class, but as a CBT. So we sent him a CBT. So now he's going to become a mentor, and then we'll get him in a class next time at a better time for him. So thank you for being that role model and thanking, because I know they're in there for the right reason under your tutelage. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Yeah, they are excellent people, all of them. I'm really happy for them, and it's really nice to see them excel.
Thank you. Anybody else? Jonathan, you had it next.
Yeah, Melissa, I would have to say that the ramp workshop in itself doesn't validate me per se. It validates the reasoning for having the program. I would say that, because I would have to say that I've really been mentoring my whole life, even before the military, without even knowing it. And I think we all are at some point. because even when you don't think somebody's watching you or don't think somebody's trying to emulate what you're doing and what's going on, they're doing it, especially for you parents out there. That's exactly what you're doing. We're not just parenting, we're mentoring our kids to become good, productive citizens. And so the program and the workshop, it validates 100% of what our wounded warriors need out here. I mean, again, you have a plethora of resources that are just endless. I mean, they're infinity and beyond. And so that's what really validates the Wounded Warrior program. The ramp is just a part of that, an integral part of validating why we need it and the reasoning for having it.
Thank you, Jonathan. And for the audience out there to know, this is not a paid position. This is all volunteerism. And a mentor in the AFW2 could give on for a year, 2 years, 5 years. We have mentors that have been here since the beginning, since 2013. So there's no stopping. If you want to keep on giving back and volunteering, and this program is for wounded warriors by wounded warriors. So there's nobody from the outside that comes in and says, I want to mentor, not a first sergeant unless they're a wounded warrior, not a commander unless they're a wounded warrior, which we have. So we are able to provide a mentor to a mentoree that's a wounded warrior for a wounded warrior, all volunteerism, all volunteering for years as they want to give back. So again, I want to thank you all for being here. I just wanted to make that thing. So yes, it's bigger than yourself, but we can't make it bigger than the program. You guys make it happen. You as a unity are the program, not myself, not Roger, not Melissa. You guys do it. So thank you again. Anybody want to, Melissa, I know she might have another question, or she wants to keep on with that same question.
Did anyone else have anything to offer, or we can move on? We have another question. We have lots of questions, y'all. Okay.
We do have one question from Facebook. It says, what is your greatest personal characteristic as a mentor?
That's not to me, that's to you guys.
Yeah, that's a hard question.
No,
I would say honestly, mine is just listening. Like I'm a pretty laid back, quiet person, so I can listen all day. And if you want my opinion or want my thoughts, I'll definitely give them to you. But it's not my first instinct is to ever talk back or do any of that. I just want to hear. I can just be that shoulder at any time that you need it about anything. Like I've been through my own experiences in my life, so I'm not the one that's gonna sit here to judge you for anything that you got going on or going through. And if you want assistance or if you want help or you just want me to listen to what's going on just so you can vent and get it out and get it over with, then I think that's probably the best thing I can offer.
So I would say my greatest characteristics would probably be just my personality in general. I'm a people person. I'm also, I guess I could kind of say stubborn. So if a mentoree needs that assistance and needs that help, I'm the guy that they're going to want fighting for them, because I really don't take no too well. We're going to find you the resources that you need. We're going to get you the things that you need. And I'm going to be the guy that's going to be pushing and finding and digging and researching and doing all the things that I need to help my mentoree. And so I think those are some of my best qualities, besides just being open, honest, and candid. So I really am excited and elated about being a part of this program and many others to come, hopefully. So thank you guys for having me.
If I had to pick what I think I can offer the most, it's that I'm very encouraging to people. I really want them to see the best of a situation or the best in themselves, because really a lot about this recovery is about digging inside yourself and finding that core that helps you move forward. And so I think the best thing I've been able to offer as a mentor is the ability to help people like focus on that core and find that core and that strength that's inside them, because this is a really difficult process that all of us go through. And, you know, the ones that I've talked to are active duty, still active duty, going through the med board process. It's a very confusing time. It's very, it can be very emotional. It can be very draining, and just trying to be that support for them, I think, is the best I can offer. So I'm the person who will stand behind them and be like, you can do this, and we've got you, and we're here to support you.
Those are all really good. Those are wonderful, actually. I think for me, it's kind of been my dark gifts, having PTSD and hypersensitivity and hyper awareness. My emotions also is something that I had to deal with, and my empathy is deep now. And it's something I ran away from for a long time, but I was able to kind of jujitsu it and help people with it now. And it works. It feels like an outlet for me. I get to help, but I really understand what my mentorees are going through. I feel what they feel. And that connection is really powerful for healing from trauma and recovery. That's kind of where I've kind of focused that, just understanding where they're coming from and listening, and a lot of what everyone else kind of said too, but definitely empathy, if I like it or not. Yeah, that's very useful.
Yeah, and a lot of these warriors probably haven't had a lot of that. You know, they're scared, and they haven't had someone who understands. They haven't had someone who's walked in their shoes or gone before them. They haven't had someone who will just listen without trying to give them advice. You know, all of those things are really, really wonderful qualities for you to have as a mentor. So thank you for sharing. Roger, did you have a question?
Yeah. And I like what you said. You know, those qualities are really good to have. You know, and sometimes, you know, mentoree, you know, they need those things, but they may not be, you know, ready to express that. So it's good, you know, to help bring that out. In regards to a mentoree, what would you say to someone who's never experienced a virtual workshop and they refuse to do it, right, because it's virtual? What would you say to change their mind to come to one of our workshops?
Honestly, I would tell them, just sign in, turn your camera off, and just listen. Just listen to the conversations that we have, how we vibe together, how we, you know, conversate with each other. Just get the gist of it. You don't have to talk. You don't have to say anything. You don't even have to introduce yourself if you don't want to. Just come listen. And then I think by the end of it, they'll feel a little more comfortable to either join in by the end of the week or join in on the next one to see how we do things, especially us that have been in a few. That can kind of carry it a little bit and help the ones that are just coming into the program. I think that's the best way to do it.
Lisa, I totally would have to agree with you, but you know, I've been a first sergeant sitting over here in the recruiting squadron, so there's some little tactics and nuances that I could probably do to kind of convince them to join the virtual workshop. So again, I'm very resourceful, and I think my personality would definitely get them on the workshop. Just by, I mean, you got to think, we were able to get them to raise their right hand and sign on the dotted line. So, I mean, some of those same tactics are still useful today, and I've witnessed it firsthand. And I guarantee you, I could probably get that person to change their mind.
I think that's where the stubbornness and the refusal to take no for an answer comes into play, right? That's an awesome trait.
You know,
that's what. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
In the military, from day one, they tell us what to do, right? They tell us what to wear, how to eat, what to eat, how to brush our teeth, how to keep our beds with, you know, those corners. And then when something happens to you, it seems like that kind of goes away. When you get your news of whatever, wound, ill, so the way I want to phrase it is, it seems like it's a void. Yes, the doctor's telling you what's going to happen, but they're not telling you what to do. like everybody else. And then people shy away when someone's wounded, ill, and injured. They rally on a different front with prayers and all that stuff. But it seems like you're alone, right? You feel like you're alone. And this is where mentorship fills that void. So by recommending or by a little bit of getting them to volunteer, like Jonathan does, is a big step. And I know Lisa went through it. I know Lance went through it in the in-person event where I probably don't want to be here. I want to go home. And then you had staff come around and rally and say, come on, stick it out.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. So when you refer somebody, we still need that person to kind of hold their hand through this and say, steadfast, you're going to get through this. And then
I'm gonna be by your side.
yeah, exactly. We're here with you, right? So I just wanted to point that out. The strength of a mentor is to be able to stand by the person while all this adversities and uncertainty is in their lives. So thank you again.
So I don't think people understand. I've been in the program since 2011, and my first event was in 2019. So coming a long way from that, you know, being asked over and over and over again to come to events, and I would just delete the email or push the email aside until I was ready. You know, you gotta, and then even when I showed up, I still wasn't completely ready. Even 9 years later, here I am 10 years later in the program. And been through a lot of different situations. By the time I came to event, I've been through med board. I've been through many dogs and almost through another med board. So I think it takes it's your own experience and how you can use it to help other people.
Very good. Very good. I know Lance too. He kept on throwing away those emails also.
Man, I would have got in there sooner though. I would got there.
No, I'm hard. I'm hard headed, man.
No, that's totally. Go ahead, Lisa.
No, I entered the program in fall of 2017, and then in spring of 2018 went to an event, a care event, pretty quickly afterwards because I had a lot of people kind of poking at me, and I didn't realize how badly I needed that. As much as I do appreciate the accessibility of the virtual side of it, I will always encourage people to go to an in-person event whenever, you know, that's humanly possible. And I hopefully, you know, possible again in the future, because I didn't realize how alone I felt in my journey, and how deep, dark of a hole I was really sitting in until I had the opportunity to meet other wounded warriors face to face and open up and share those stories that I didn't think I was ready to share. But like Lance kind of said, you know, when it came to his turn, it just all came out, and it was so very healing. Absolutely. So, I mean, the whole program is so robust, and the mentors are part of it. I had a mentor, and she helped me feel really validated that, you know, it wasn't, you know, me trying to be difficult, that I was struggling in a hard time. So my mentor helped me validate those experiences because she went through something similar. And so I felt like I wasn't alone as far as experiencing my conditions. And then being in person and connecting with the program and other wounded warriors, I felt like the Air Force didn't really care about me until I came to an AFW2 event. And I got to feel connected and supported in a whole new way. And so being a mentor, and then I'm enrolled to be an ambassador training next week, I think brings it full circle, because this program saves people. And I don't mean in just like this, the life kind of like, you know, you could be in harm kind of way, but saving you emotionally and mentally when you're going through some things that are just so overwhelming. So being a mentor brings that into it. And the in-person events are huge, though the virtual ones are super accessible. And I appreciate both of those for what they offer.
I think not being involved in the program for so long, and then finally like stepping out of my box and coming and doing all that, kind of like, I was a senior airman. I was 21 years old when I came, 21 years old, 22 years old when I came to the program. Really was just trying to be like, I'm good. Even now, like, I walk around like nothing's wrong, everything's good, everything's great. But when I'm involved in the program and talk to you guys and at the workshops, when I went to the in-person, like, I felt like a normal person. You know, I didn't feel like I had to like hide my emotions or, you know, hide what was deep rooted into me, because they had this one image of me here at work when I have this on, like I'm good to go. I'm okay. But you know, being around others that have other issues going on as well just made everything like okay, like all right. So
Yeah, you guys are really killing it with this. That's 100% how I felt too. You know, I was in a dark spot for 3 years after I got out, and kind of unlike Lisa, I actually knew I was there, and I didn't want anybody to touch me, talk to me, nothing. I was deleting my emails. I was like, I was avoiding everybody, anything. And when I finally opened up and cracked, that it was so instant, it was so immediate. It happened right away. Like as soon as I had a voice, and because I had felt like that nobody was checking on me, even as I was transitioning out, I just left. It was very hard for me to feel feel valued. And that was very difficult. And so when I got there, I instantly felt that, and it made sense to me. I was lost in confusion for so long, and it made sense to me. And that's what I would say to someone that doesn't want to go to an event, virtual or live. I would still push the live, because you do get the energy, you get those hugs, you get the smiles, you get the rawness. Yeah, it's crazy. It's really good. And but that's what I would say is, you know, don't take so much time. 3 years is a long time to be going through that and not doing anything about it. And I thought that I could fix it, and I just was stale the whole time. And as soon as I got there, it just changed everything. And if somebody, you know, go back to the original question, if somebody didn't want to go, I would tell them that, you know, let's try not to waste too much time because of your fears. And if you need me, like open up your laptop and then have me on the phone. I'll tell you everything about the program as you're in the meeting. And like Lisa said, turn off your camera. That was one of my first ideas. Just be there and see. That's it. Thanks.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you
Really
know, I think
appreciate that.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think it's really important to just be transparent. Like we've had a lot of mentors come on and they're just transparent. They say, like, I remember, I think it was Lance said, you know, I appreciate being in my home because I don't like having people behind me, or I don't like, you know, it gives me anxiety. And there's a lot of us like that. I've said many times, I have that same thing around people. I get weird. I get socially awkward. I get anxious. That's just how I am. But it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to share and to be comfortable with your story. And I've never seen anybody share something difficult, and I've walked away. I've always walked away and had more respect for that person, not less. I've always appreciated their story when they've been vulnerable and transparent. So it's hard. It's a hard step, but man, it's very healing. So thank you all for sharing about that.
If you attended virtually, we have no issues when you come to a CARE event and you're selected to come for ramp and in person. I think you will gain twofold from that, or threefold, because for one, you got it virtually, but then the connectiveness of each other. You guys going to lunch together or dinner together or whatever really builds that bond. And you can't replace that part, the human touch and all that. So we do our best. We really do. And I think you build a bond, but when you go in person, it's ramped up.
And I think one thing,
it's ramped up.
Yeah, I think one thing, Jose, since we're there together on the first day, like without anybody else, we stick together the whole week. Like I know me and Lance, we went together and breakfast, like lunch and dinners, and with our whole class that we had for ramp, pretty much the entire week we were there, regardless of our schedule. You know, we would meet up after we got back at the end of the day. Even though we were all spread out around base, we came back. Boom, let's meet up, guys, because we kept our same chat the whole week. You know.
So what happens is, in that event, everybody got that training the first day, and then they went all to sports. They went to EIT, employment in transition. They went to ambassador. Everybody went to their own thing. So they were given an opportunity to stick with that, but because they built that first bond in that first day, they gravitated to that, back to that safe place, I guess, because that was a safe place. So thank you for sharing that.
So speaking of sharing, another question lined up for you guys. How would you describe AFW2 or ramp to a complete stranger, somebody who's never ever heard of the program. You know, let's just say let's an elevator talk, so to speak, right? Your elevator speech. How would you describe AFW2 to a complete stranger?
I'd ask them if they like magic. It really is that life-changing. And when I explain like, hey, all of these things that you're feeling and you went through are the opposite in this program. Like everything that you wish you had is here. Everything that you've been searching for is here. I'm very ambitious and I did a ton of research. I tried to help myself all by myself for that long period of time. And I did not excel a fraction, like, 99% as soon as I got into this program. It really is just absolutely condensed, and it's everything that you're looking for if you're struggling.
I would describe this program as the Air Force caring for its wounded warriors in all the ways that we need. It's an opportunity for connection, and I really appreciate how AFW2 meets every warrior where they're at. Because I really struggled not being the person that I used to be before, my medical conditions kicked in. And so I felt like I wasn't an airman that I wanted to be anymore. I was no longer, I had my job taken away. I had all my responsibilities taken away. And I was basically just put in a little corner on the side while they med boarded me. And AFW2 brought me back into the Air Force. It very much reblued me in a whole new way because I've always had a lot of pride in my ability to serve in the Air Force. It's been huge for me. I'm from a military family. My father retired Air Force. I was really invested in the Air Force, and I feel like AFW2 is how the Air Force brings you back and connects you with Big Blue again, because I'm no longer the active force that I was, and every warrior is going through something different on their recovery journey, and AFW2 allows them to meet us where we're at and still support and value us and what we can offer to other wounded warriors along the way too. So AFW2, I think Lance was right. It's magic in some way.
Yeah, so I would probably, again, give them the whole recruiting spiel. I would like to travel the world and see. But no, I think, again, Lance and Lisa, you guys have hit it spot on. I would just explain to them the vast number of resources on a more ramped up level, of actually being able to provide whatever help that you need with whatever you're going through in life. And even when you're not in a dark moment, it helps you to sustain the happy time that you're in. So I would just give my own personal life experience with the program. And that's what people want to hear, really. They want to hear the candid experience that you have. You're telling me that this program is so great, but what has it done for you in your life, in your world? So give me some of those examples. And that's what they want to hear. And so that's what I would probably give to a perfect stranger.
Thank you. Hey, guys, real quick, I want to ask one question. In the workshop, can you add a memorable moment to capture that workshop, and are you able to convey it? Okay, I'll give an instance. We had a workshop, and one of the pitfalls was it wasn't the car, Roger, so I'm not bringing up the car, but it's the one-upper. Well, it's one upper. So Jonathan Sessions brought out his TI hat because he was a TI, and we were talking about one-upping and all that stuff all day long, and nonchalant and stuff like that about listening techniques. And Jonathan Sessions brought out his TI hat, and guess who was on there with us? Walt Myrie, the one-upper. He pulled it out. Walt Myrie brought out his TI hat with a blue rope around it. Guess what? One up. That was memorable. That was classic. Loved it. Do any of you have I stole yours, Jonathan.
Yeah, so, you did.
I did. But do any of you have a memorable moment or something you want to close it up with?
I know that this one's not quite as funny. That's really good, actually. I know when Tanya came around and gave us those rocks, I still have my rock, and that hit me so hard. Yeah, they're awesome. And they, it's a little rock that says a word of inspiration. Mine was peace, and that is 100%. I have it on my computer. It's something I strive for every day, and it just felt like that's what I was there to find, and it made so much sense to me, and it stood out, and I see it every day, and it's a memory that's going to stick with me. And everybody got those. Everybody got like Lisa, she's got hers still. Everybody got those. That's the live event. That's kind of some of the things you can get during that, and I love that. It meant so much to me.
Lance, we need to thank Tanya Magoo, the caregiver and family program manager, for that, because she introduced it. We call it Tanya's Rocks. And sometimes we look for those rocks and they're in a box. So we call them the love rocks or the love box. So we joke around with Tanya, where's her love rocks and all that stuff. So Tanya, thank you for giving that. And that's a rock with a message on it. And the message could have peace, hope, love.
Mine was courage.
Courage. And these are words that you pick out and they speak to you on your level. So whatever meaning, I can't tell you what your message is. And even Tanya tells you, you'll find out even at that moment that you don't know. Later on, when you're on that plane or you go home, you know what that message was. So shout out to Tanya Magoo. Shout out to Walt and the Phoenix team for putting that together, and including the magic ball that the ball of wonder that we have. So we have little tricks here and there to keep you connected. Anybody else have anything? Lisa, do you have something? Or did Lance steal it?
No, I guess my most memorable moment was actually just like being there, like showing up, putting like boots on ground, I guess, and being there and experiencing and learning, and at the end of it, like actually enjoying it and wanting to do more for the program. Because when I first got there, I wanted to go home. So now I've been wanting to get more and more and more involved in it. So anytime, y'all hit me up, I'm here, I'm ready. Like, so yeah, I think that's it. Just finally going is the most memorable thing. I talk about it all the time. It definitely brought me out of my shell. So yeah, that's it.
I tell everybody, I told them on the closed group, I feel like a proud father today. When I saw that and all you guys all around it, I even put it on the Facebook closed group. I feel like a very proud father. I love it.
I need $100, man.
What's that?
I need $100, Dad. So
you need to work for it. You need to work for it. I'll give you your allowance. Anybody else have any memorable moment they want to share?
I think my memorable moment was just getting the chance to bond with other wounded warriors at the after hours events of the care event. And just
can you expand on that? What happens at a care event after the long day of working out, doing sports, doing EIT, doing ambassadorship? It's a time to do what? Expand, Lisa, on that.
I mean, it's a time to kind of decompress and digest and relax and connect all at the same time. So I went to the EIT, the Empowerment and Transition, kind of like a boot camp session, as I knew that I would be leaving the Air Force. And I mean, I got so much great information all day, but at the end of the day, you've taken it all in. And then you get to go hang out with other wounded warriors. In my case, I spent a lot of time with my roommate. I met up with my mentor because she was in the ation. Nice. I met some other amazing wounded warriors who were just going through, other programs, but they're at the care event, and you have 4 or 5 of us would grab dinner and be like, oh, hey, mind if I bring so-and-so? And yeah. And over dinner and breaking bread and relaxing and decompressing, you get to hear other people's stories and connect with them. And I met some informal mentors, but really inspiring people too, that helped me just feel like part of that big family. That was amazing. So that connecting time that you get when you're kind of off out of the class, but you're still in that environment was amazing for me.
Thank you, Lisa. And you hit the nail on the head. Your mentors that you have in life that are not official, or they're official, but later on you become what everybody, what do we become?
Mentors.
So yes, unofficial mentors, or the mentors that after the pairing is complete and fulfilled. So thank you, Lisa, for guiding us on that path when you after hours and all that stuff. So thank you for putting that out there. Anybody else want to add anything? We're all good on that. I know, Jonathan, sorry for stealing yours. Walter did say, did Jose just call me a one-upper? Yeah, in that moment?
Yeah.
I do. That's what I called you.
He's a one-upper.
Very good. And he did just say, they tell you how to eat when we were saying about the military telling you how fast you can eat and all that. So thank you for that, Walt. And thank you for participating and everybody. And David Cole also said, gave us a motto. If you can't what? Ramp it?
You can't dodge it, ramp it is what he said.
Thank you, David Cole, for that one. If you can't dodge it, ramp it. Kick down those barriers, guys.
I think we need to have a shirt, Jose, with all the sayings that we've been creating. Like we'll have that one there, then we'll have ramped up, and then magic, nail on the head, like all these sayings that we've been saying. We put it all on a shirt.
I love that.
That's amazing. Everything described in the program. Yep, it'll fill up quick. Anybody have anything before we close up? Anybody want to add something that they want to tell us out here in AFW2 world?
AFW2 world, I just want to say again, great program, great opportunity to give back, a great opportunity to be a part of a family, be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. That's been my goal in life, and I'm just so proud and elated to be a part of something like this. I mean, you guys call me anytime at the drop of a dime. I'm willing to give up a lot of other things that I'm doing in order to help somebody. And again, it's a domino effect here, guys. They've changed my life in order to change somebody else's life, in order to change somebody else's life. And it's an ever-ending train that just keeps going and keeps going. And so I want to do whatever I can to fuel that train, per se. And so I'm here at your beck and call, Dad, Jose. So,
thank you, Jonathan. I like that. We could add that to a t-shirt. So we'll figure out how to put that up in a t-shirt. Give back, ramp it up.
That's really good. I like that one.
Thank you. Anybody want to close it up? Anybody else?
I'd like to just kind of piggyback on that and say thanks for everybody to showing up. This is like the first step. If you had any, like just the curiosity and willingness to be here is a lot. It takes a lot to do that. And it, like Jonathan said, I love that domino effect idea or the concept. That is perfect, because you're going to do this and then you're going to do something else, and it's just going to grow and it's going to get bigger, and you're going to see other people that are on the same path, and the momentum is outstanding.